Hey YouTube, it's Jay. Today I'm going to be reviewing the McDermott Sledgehammer SH-1 brake cue. Now I've been using a Mucci for years and years and years and years. Actually, the tip on my Mucci had been put on in 1998. And I went to play a tournament over the weekend, local tournament, and the tip popped off. And I'll tell you that story when I do my 1-year review, which will be coming up very shortly because it's been a year since I started shooting again. I'll tell you that story, but the short story is the tip popped off of my Mucci, and it is still off. And I had always said, well, I'm not going to invest in a brake cue as long as this one's doing the job. Well, it popped off the Mucci. I am probably going to replace the ferrule and the tip and retire that cue. But since it popped off, I started looking at brake cues. Now, the brake is a very, very important part of the game. It's arguably the most important part of the game of pool. However, I'm not going to spend $1,000 on a brake cue. Mez has some out. Their latest one is $906. I'm just not going to spend that for a brake cue. I'll put a $30 ferrule and LaPro tip on this and call it a day before I'll do that. However, there are some more affordable versions of brake cues out there. And so among those more affordable versions is the McDermott. So this just came in. It's still in the shipping package. Have not opened it, have not touched it, have not looked at it, have done nothing with it. Literally came in like 20 minutes ago. This cue is $288. Now, I have talked to several people. I have hit a couple of balls with brake cues, but not very many because my Mucci always did the job. So this is a brand new, basically brand new experience for me using a brake cue. So I'm going to open it, I'm going to check it out, and I'm going to see how I brake with it and if it's comparable to what I was doing. And one of the big things about my brake is I use English on my brake. I use draw on my brake, actually. And so the brake cue has a hard phenolic tip. Now, I suspect I'll still be able to get some English out of it, but I don't know if I'll be able to get enough to do the brake that I like the best. So I'm going to try it. Now, supposedly the BK Rush by Predator will do that. But again, $600 cue for a brake shot. I can brake perfectly well with the house cues that I have over there on the wall. So anyhow, let's open this up. I did get this from pooldog.com. They're a little bit more expensive than I could get in a couple of other places, but we're talking, maybe saving $5 on it. And Pooldog's customer service and return policies make it worth it to me to spend the extra $5. So $288 was the cost of this cue through the site. No discount code or anything like that, just the retail through the site. Let's take a look at it. So, don't need anything fancy on a brake cue. Don't need points or any of that kind of stuff. And in fact, that's a turnoff for me that Predator puts their yellow leopard on everything, or panther, or whatever it is. That's a real turnoff for me. It's one of the reasons you probably will not see me buy a Predator cue. Even the new red shaft one they have, which is out of stock everywhere, even that one is, it's got the Predator Panther head on it, on the right where the points are. I don't like that. Stop branding the cues that visibly. Okay, so let's open this thing up and see what we got. So this is an 18 ounce That's what I brake with, is 18 ounce cues. It's got kind of a rubberized grip here. I'm not sure I like that. I like a grip that my handles slide through. The most important thing though is that the grip is different from the grip on my playing cue. I don't want an Irish linen wrap on my brake cue because I want to be able to know as soon as I pick it up, if I'm not paying attention, when I get down to shoot, you'll see me do it occasionally with the brake cue in my hand, and as soon as I feel the different grip, I know that I need to stop, back up, and go get my correct cue. Okay, so it's got a rubberized grip on it. Kind of looks like there's a wrinkle with it. I'm not sure what that's about. It does say Sledgehammer on the grip. It's got the standard McDermott cap. It's got the heavy duty pin, which is good. All right. I do not like carbon fiber. That's another thing you will not see me buying is carbon fiber. I know a lot of players like it. A lot of players swear by it. I don't. I won't. So I have a maple shaft. And the shafts for brake cues, there's a difference in them. Brake cues are solid, where low deflection plating shafts are wedges that fit together, and they've got a hole basically all the way down the center in them. And it's just a product of the way they're manufactured. Okay, so this is a wood-to-wood joint, which I'm perfectly fine with. That's what the Mucci is. That's what my McDermott playing cue is. Feels pretty good. The shaft is fatter, I think, than I would like. It feels like it's 13 and a half. That's really fat for me. We will have to see how that hits. I'm not sure that I can bridge that shaft when I'm braking from the center of the table. That may be too thick for my hand with the problem with it. We'll try it. All right, so there's the shaft. I'm going to try a couple brakes, see what I can do. I have not warmed up. There is nothing in my stroke that has been warmed up. So this is just cold. I do get better brakes after I've been braking for a little while during the day. So let's give this a shot and see how it feels. Okay, so I can draw with it. The sound definitely sounded funny. Didn't get any real action out of the rack, but that may be the rack. It's one brake. Let's see what happens. Keep going. So that looks more like my normal brake. Pretty good layout. The two ball came down and up. The one ball came past the side. Cue ball came all the way down and back up. It actually came this way, but that's fine. Yeah, that came out pretty good. All right, let's try it again. All right, so this is a $20 Brunswick that came with the set. It was 4 cues, the rack, the bridge, the Centennial balls for $450, I think it was. Let's just see how we brake with just a $20 cue. It might not even be $20, might be 10. So I kind of feel like that brakes better. We'll try it again. I feel like that brakes better than that brake cue. So let's take a look at this. We made our corner ball like we're supposed to. We've got 5 balls that are side pocket or forward. We've got 3 balls that are down at that end. 9 didn't move. It's not supposed to move. Let's do a couple more breaks with this and then we'll go get that one. And by the way, this is an 18-ounce cue as well. I deliberately picked the one of those that was the same weight for this comparison. All right, we got 2 in. We have 2, 3, 4 balls in front, 3 balls behind. You know what? I'm gonna break a couple more with the breaking cue. But let's do something. Let's throw the 1 ball at the camera. Let's do the Predator Break Speed app. Where you at? There it is. Set that over there. Okay, again, 5 balls from the side pocket forward, 3 balls on that end, made a ball and made the win ball. All right, so 16 miles an hour. You know what? So that's the draw break. Let me do this with the power break. That would be break number 1 in the How to Break series. Breaking Good series is the official name of it. Let's just put these. .4 miles per hour. I didn't hit that perfect. I hit it low. I've been using this low brake so long that I kind of got it ingrained in. We'll do another one. .6. It's a better break. 19.5. So funny thing, if you just on this app, if you hit it and you don't break at all, it still registers up in the 19s. So this is the app's suspect, but it's about the best I can do in trying to measure the claim that the phenolic tip causes you to break harder, faster, which is what I'm kind of testing here. That's why I'm recording. That's why I'm doing the app. Power brake, phenolic tip. .38. All right. That was a good power brake. Wow, 18.79. Now, I do not think this is accurate, just to be very clear about that. The only reason I'm using it is because it's the best I've got for trying to compare the two. So my brake, so far, not really a whole lot of difference between the two cues. One's $288 and the other one's $20. Let's see if it makes a difference on the cut brake. So I'm going to go off and break some more and then come back and give you my verdict. Right now, I'll tell you that after, a handful of breaks, I really don't see the difference. We'll come back though. Let me break with this some more, see what happens. Get some better data, get some more data, because a handful of breaks isn't really enough statistically. All right, so after about 2 dozen breaks, here's what I think. I think that the pros to the braking cue are that the tip's not going to pop off randomly like the one did on the Mucci. Although the one on the Mucci lasted for 20 years, it was a matter of time before it was going to pop off. And bear in mind that in those 20 years, 15 of them I didn't play. So that tip was like I had put it on 5 years ago. I think that the braking cue will weather the power of the brake better than the Mucci would, or the house cue would. The house cue probably fall apart at the joint if I broke with it over a period of time. Obviously newer design. Not sure I like the rubber wrap that's on it. I think I would have rather gone wrapless, but they didn't offer a wrapless McDermott. I would have had to go up to the Mez or the Predator in the $500-600 and up range to get that. The cons. So the shaft is definitely bigger than I like. I do not like how the 13.5-inch diameter shaft. Not at all in any way, shape, or form. And I did not see an option, I'll go back and check, but I do not believe there is an option to change the shaft. There was an option to change the weights, and there was an option to change the tips, but I did not see an option to change the shaft. That to me feels like I'm back in 1970 playing with a house cue. That's what that feels like. So I did not get the same level of draw that I normally do, and I use that as part of controlling the one ball. So that's kind of important to me. I'm going to continue to play with it for a little while and see if I can get to where, hey, it's enough. It's enough. Out. So I'm going to play with it for a while, see if that's maybe because of the thickness of the shaft, I can't hit as low on the cue ball, or if that's just me mentally bringing it up because I'm not used to the cue. So I'm going to give it some time before I say that that's a definite con. I do think that the pin in this one is much more heavy duty than the pin in the Mucci. I did not see an increase in power or speed coming from this brake cue. In fact, if anything, I think it slowed down a little bit from using that Mucci. And the Mucci was not a brake cue. The Mucci was a playing cue. So in the old days, you took your playing cue, and when you leveled up your cue, you would take the old cue and use it as a brake cue. And I think that Mucci's probably as good or better brake cue than the brake cue that I'm braking with. Now, how it compares to today's cues, I don't know. I have not tried to take one of today's cues and use it as a brake cue. I did try to break, and I'll tell the story behind it, but I did try to break with my playing cue one time during that tournament, and it did not go well. So I definitely wouldn't want to break with like the medium tip. I definitely like the harder tip. And I do not know if I put, so that was a LaPro that was on the Mucci, but it was a 20-year-old LaPro, so it had hardened up, and it may have been just as hard as the phenolic tip. That may be why I'm not seeing that much difference. The tip on the Brunswick, the $20 cue, I mean, that's a 12-year-old tip. It's hardened up. I'm sure that that plays a factor in why it's breaking similar to the brake cue. But when all's said and done, the question at the end of the day is how likely would I be to buy this brake cue knowing what I know right now, given the choice between retipping the Mucci and using the brake cue. And I'd have to say it's like a 6 out of 10, maybe a 7. And the reason that it's so low is because I'm not seeing a benefit to the braking game, and that's what I'm buying it for, is to brake with. And I'm not seeing enough value in an increase in my brake shot to make me feel like I'd be getting $288 worth of additional value out of braking with that cue. It's well made. McDermott makes great cues. My main playing cues is McDermott. It's definitely well made. No knock there. I think that the phenolic tips, I feel like the phenolic tips may be a marketing thing. I may be wrong. That's just my opinion. But would I spend $288 on this cue knowing what I know now, or would I put $40 into my playing cue and $240 into tournament entries? I put 40 into my Mucci and put the rest into tournament entries. So that's my opinion. Again, nothing wrong with McDermott's. I just don't see the value in the brake cue over what was traditionally the way you did it, where you took your old cue and turned it into your brake cue when you bought a new cue. So anyhow, that's my opinion. 6, maybe 7 out of 10. Would I spend the money? I think what you're buying is you're buying the durability. I don't believe the hype based on what I've seen. Again, very, very short period of time, and I reserve the right to change my mind after I've been braking with it for a while. But I just don't see the value in, I don't see the increase in power that all of the manufacturers hype based on phenolic cues and braking cues. So I just don't see it. That's it. Have a great day, and we'll catch you next time. I will review some other brake cues at some point. It may just be this particular brake cue. I don't know. But I will review some others in the future. Thank you.